Chapter 29, Mirage. 1 month later. Tell me what's happening. Can you see them? I can't see anything. Mirage lowered her cat's eye sunglasses. That's because you're sitting in the back seat hiding under a cashmere blanket. I don't want them to see me. If I manage to avoid them this long, I can go a bit longer. Mastermind giggled with glee, sounding like a child. Mirage was done with children after last month, so the sound was jarring. But tell me what's going on. Mirage sighed. They'd parked the saloon down the street from the Safari Motel for tonight's stakeout and had been waiting over an hour for movement. But they finally had some. Helen had opened the curtains in the hotel room, giving Mirage a view inside. Mirage couldn't help but smile when she saw Violet, her hair pushed back behind her ears, the girl standing by the door, dressed up like she was going to a party. And was that an actual smile she saw on her face? Atta girl, Violet, she thought. Helen looked happy too. She didn't know her the way she did Bob, and she knew the children way better than she knew him, but she was happy to see the family back together, even if they had lost their house and all this syndrome nonsense. Thinking of that egomaniac still made her blood boil. Mirage, I'm waiting, pet. Don't call me pet. Sorry. Mastermind leant forwards, looking like an old-school ghost under the sheet. But I need to know what's going on. Fine. Helen and Violet are in their motel room. Violet is dressed up, so I'm assuming they're getting ready to leave. When they do, we follow, Mastermind instructed. After working for Syndrome, Mirage promised herself she'd never work for another egomaniac or do anything other than acting again. But it turned out auditions were rough, and bit parts paid next to nothing. On the other hand, working for egomaniacs paid well, and Mastermind was nothing like Syndrome. Mirage knew it the minute she showed up at the villain's compound and explained what was going on with Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, and the children. Mastermind hadn't insisted to give Mirage an antidote to the nullifier on one condition. When the dust settled, Mirage would bring the nullifier back to Mastermind for safekeeping. I don't want any more supers losing their powers, she commanded. I need them if I'm ever getting back to work. Mastermind's plan was a good one, not unlike Syndrome's in a way. Draw supers out of retirement, get them back to work by creating situations that governments couldn't ignore. True, Mastermind could blabber on a bit during dinner about the villain glory days, but if she could make supers and villains legal again, they'd be rolling in dough. And unlike Syndrome, Mastermind had been willing to make Mirage her full partner. You've got gumption, she said. We could work well together. For the last month, they had. The villain planning was exciting. Mastermind's compound, top-notch, the pool alone, and Mirage wanted for nothing. She could get used to this sort of life, and a villain partner. Violet opened the hotel room door, and she walked out with Helen, who was carrying Jack-Jack. Mirage put her sunglasses back on, started the engine, and slowly rode down the street following Helen, Violet, and the baby from a safe distance. Put on your seatbelt, she told Mastermind. We're going for a ride.